Mike, I'm kind of proud of that shot. That's about as close as I'm going to get one to the center from a kind of a field position shooting from the mule.
Again, this is the 125 grain controlled chaos fired from a 300 hammer around 2,400 feet per second. Absolutely what the controlled chaos bullet is known to do. It sheds these petals. We can look at the width of how wide this is. Really, really impressive. So we got right about 5 inches of the width of this terminal performance of the spread of this. Nice deep, about 10 inches, where we're 5 inches wide, about 10 inches deep, showing all kinds of upset at what we would consider terminal performance. It would be terminal performance if it was in a game animal. Yep. These petals shed. We've got about 7 of these petals. We were right at, the shallowest one looks to be about 6.5 inches. The most forward petal, about 9 inches. Just almost a shotgun type buckshot approach that goes on to the lungs. And you've shot a lot of hogs with this for 4 years now. Oh, and it's dropped them pretty quick, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, if you place your shot well, it drops them right in their tracks every single time.
Yep. I'm going to pull one of these petals out. We're not going to dig them all out, but we do have about 7. They're nice width on these petals. Again, really good looking petal. They peel back nice. Now the base, so we were 24 inches in the gel, and we caught this in this second water jug. So we are somewhere right in that 34 inches or so, or 30 more than 34 inches of penetration.
Minimum 31.
Yeah, minimum 31.
I mean, if it barely got through that second bottle, we're at 31. So that's pretty deep penetration for any kind of big game animal. So I've shot hundreds of hogs and dozens of deer with this bullet, and I've never had a failure yet. It's done what it's supposed to do every single time.
Look at this base. You've got this base to flange out a little bit. Bigger than the diameter, so you're bigger than 308. So it's up there probably around 320, 325 in diameter. I just don't know it gets any better than that. And again, it's just consistent performance, perfected in the water, and you've done some tweaking on this bullet, and I've liked what you've done with it over the years. So
we gradually, try to improve product as we learn more. It's like, well, we can make that, a little better.
You might be able to change it to do something, but I can't imagine it being any better than this.
I don't think we can do anything to that bullet to make it have any better terminal performance.
Now what we're going to do is we've got a few layers of gene, 4 layers of gene material over this block of gel. It's more than a hunting cartridge. Another application would that be for?
Well, I mean, the cartridge is very well proven in the hunting fields.
Right.
And it has great application for tactical shooting also, Mike. Yeah. I mean, it's ideal for like a law enforcement sniper, which is typically under 100-yard shot, stuff
Absolutely.
like that. Low recoil, so almost anybody can shoot it well.
Right.
But it's, I think we'll show here the terminal performance of it is ideal for law enforcement, military, home defense in areas that are, maybe rural, stuff like that, where you might have to have a longer shot, like people live on a ranch, like we do, something like that. We've shot the other shots at 100, kind of simulate, an average hunting deal. I'm going to shoot this one at about 50, show people what it does at about 50 yards, and we'll see what it does.
So we have, obviously we went through 4 layers of denim, so we expected that pretty much, right? All right, let's look at the terminal performance of what we've got here.
We got one pedal that went really deep there this time, Mike. Look at that. That pedal is 10 1/4 inches in. And we got the base right there. It actually went through and kind of ricocheted off of a water jug. So we got just over 24 inches of penetration there.
Absolutely. And again, the base looks consistent. The petals, we'll pull one of these out just to let folks see just exactly what we're talking about here with the consistency of this base and this petals coming off of here.
But what we see every time we shoot these control chaos and the extreme chaos into gel is when we put denim in front of them, they actually perform better than they do when you shoot straight into the gel. I mean, we've seen that over and over. Every time we've done this test, it actually, both handgun and rifle, the bullets perform better after they shoot through denim than they do, directly into the gel.
when you put 4 layers up there, and the performance is actually better. And again, you know, 8, 9, 10 inches of penetration from these pedals. Again, 24 inches on a base, nice flange, just a complete perfect performance, just like we've seen, if and better out of the pedal penetration. You can count on this thing. You know, it's consistent every shot. And he said some of these barriers we present in front of it don't give it problems. It actually does better. So
I honestly believe that the 300 hammer with this bullet is the ideal combination for like a urban law enforcement SWAT sniper. You know, I mean, they're typically, you know, shooting 50 to 100 yards in that range.
Right.
You know, and if you put a suppressor on the gun, they're relatively quiet.
Right.
And easy to shoot, because if you put a suppressor on a 300 hammer, the recoil impulse is almost identical to an unsuppressed 5.56.
For law enforcement, the handiness, the lightness of the weapon, easy to suppress amount of powder that's in that case, and it's also a faster burning powder. You know, when I do a lot of the ballistician type work for us, the 300 hammer is loaded with faster powder that really burns nice and quick in those 16-inch barrels that you're producing. So, good all-around bullet, great all-around cartridge. For everything that I need done, I can get it done with the 300 hammer. Now I'm holding the 125 grain controlled chaos 300 hammer, again around 2,400 feet per second. We're going to shoot that into the water tank. We're going to put a couple shots in that and see how that goes.
Yeah, we're going to shoot from 100 yards. Hey Mike, see if we can recover the base back there.
All right.
See what we got here. We've got 3 bases,
right,
and we got 16 pedals out of 3 shots.
5 to 6 is what you consistently see, right?
5 to 6 is normal. Okay. You know, I rarely see 4, and I occasionally see 7, but it usually sheds 5 to 6 pedals.
And again, you know, talking about when he says rarely see, is beginning of all the testing, all the test shots that he's been able to do in this is this custom built water tank, so that we get all that done. So it's just amazing how the consistency and how many shots that he can fire and perfect these bullets. And you know, this is what you expect, isn't it?
I want to consistently prove to myself that I can shoot now into water bag, 4 mil water bags. Right. We can shoot into gel, and we can shoot into hogs, and we get the same performance.
Yeah. It's just this water tank, you know, the reason he's got this strapped down is the amount of energy that hammer really unleashes, the amount of energy. You said it was lifted up, if you didn't have it strapped down, it lifted this tank up, didn't you?
This tank weighs 200 pounds empty.
Okay.
And my buddy Jeremy that built it, he did the calculation, and it holds 500 pounds of water. So we got a 700-pound tank here.
Right.
And if it's not strapped down, it will jump completely out of these 2-inch angle irons here. It will jump completely up on top of the angle iron. Well, another story on this tank. I mean, this is like Rev 5, I think, of the tank. I mean, we kept blowing the seams out of it. I mean, and have to reinforce it, and then blow the seam out of it and reinforce it more, and until we got to where it would hold together consistently, shooting 308 and 3.5 wind into it. I mean, we were, I think, you know, on Rev 5 of it by the time it finally started holding together. And we had to brace the top of it like this to keep the top from wanting to spread out, you know, because this is where the biggest part of the energy is dumped, is you know, 8 to 12 inches inside the tank.
Yeah, even from 100 yards, I saw the water spray going up at least 15 feet, maybe more, so I thought that looked pretty cool. All right, I'm holding up a round of the 300 hammer, 125 grain controlled chaos. We're going to shoot this through the 4 mil bags into the water trough and see what type of, well, we know what type of performance we're going to get. We're going to get that consistent. We've continued to prove that over and over again. So we're going to get ready to go take that shot now from 100 yards from the 300 hammer, about 2,400 feet per second into the water trough.
Looks like we got some pretty good performance there, Mike. He went through 2 17-inch deep water bags, and it's in the backside of the third bag there.
All right.
The base is.
So right here, I'll just do, we got a rough idea of the measurement of this going on. Almost right at the back of the tank, almost a full 48 inches in. The point of the gel is to give an exact penetration depth on that base and on the petals, but the proof of concept and repeatability, consistently going through the water bladder type and then going through the trough, that's what we see. I'll reach in here now and pull out that nice that base for us.
Yeah, when you're testing a fracturing bullet, you don't necessarily have to retrieve the petals out of it, because you can tell from the base what it did.
Right, no petals hung on, none of them tore down the side. We can the fracture line that's part of this bullet's designed. It's machined in nice and even. So everything, when we look at this bullet, everything about it, tells us by just looking at the base, that's what we got. And there's a few of the petals in there, but they're all in there, but that's just part of it. A lot of energy dumped.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I like watching the water spray. So good consistent performance from the 300 hammer, 125 grain, controlled chaos, and everything we expect from that bullet.
Okay, now we're going to shoot the 300 hammer into about a 200-pound hog from 100 yards. What we're going to do here, we're going to shoot 5 125 controlled chaos in behind the shoulder, and then we'll do an autopsy and see what we got. Well, Mike, looks like we recovered all 5 of those in the tub back here.
That's all 5 of those controlled chaos bases that give us that good deep penetration. We're looking at 16 inches of penetration. Then they still had enough remaining energy to cut through this heavy thick tub. So went 5 for 5. When Bill keeps talking about consistent performance, when you go 5 for 5 on anything, that's what we're at. Mm-hmm. The petals are going to be inside. We're going to cut this hog open. We're going to cover a few of these petals. We've got some of these recovered bullets from the 300 hammer, the 125 grain controlled chaos. We've got them laid out here. We've studied and made a few notes on what that was the final test. The hog. They had to pass the hog test with 100% reliability. And Bill, I think they did that, right?
I think so. From what we were able to recover there, we recovered all 5 of the bases from the 125 grain controlled chaos, and then we only took the time to recover 4 of the petals because they radiate out there, and we didn't want to be on camera forever trying to find all the petals because they're all going to look just like that. I mean, once you recover a base and you see that it looks like this,
right?
That part did what it was supposed to do. You don't have to have the petals to know what that bullet did. And I did a quick measuring with a caliper on that, and the control chaos here. Basically, they flared out to 340, so it's basically like a 338 bullet.
That they passed the test. That's what we wanted. From the foam over the water tank to the trough to the ballistics gel and to the hog. Through all this test, that's exactly what you wanted to prove and to show that these bullets perform identical in all the tests. So,
well, the main thing I wanted to show is how valuable water testing is. And how relevant it is to what the bullets actually do.
Right.
And that way, I mean, if any of our viewers out there want to test bullets, they can go and buy some gallons of water, stuff like that, and they can go shoot them into water, and if they recover a bullet, they can see what it does. If they're shooting like a controlled chaos bullet or extreme chaos bullet, something like that, or a controlled fracture bullet, they can put a piece of cardboard behind a gallon jug of water, and they can see exactly what happened. They'll see a full penetration of the base through the gallon of water and a diameter hole in the cardboard, but pretty much straight line, and then they'll see the petals radiate out and go through the cardboard, in a pattern like that.
Yeah, I've always sometimes put 2 fists behind the water bottle to indicate, give you water bottles are about 2.5, 3 inches thick, a couple fists laying right there, another 8 or 10, 12 inches. It gives you a good idea of what's going to go on at 10 or 12 inches with these bullets. And
you're just being cheap shooting a water bottle. I'm talking about a gallon jug of water here. I mean, let's go big and let's spend $1.25.
That's big money, right? That's big money. No, it is fun. The cardboard, it doesn't lie. Those holes are there and dead through the center. I just like doing it. I do. It's a lot of fun.
So this has been a lot of fun in spite of the trying weather the last couple of days. We actually had some sunshine today. We've been videoing in thunderstorms and rain for 2 days, but we persevered and we got it done. And I think we have got some valuable information here for our viewers.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you, Mike.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.